Hey there, hey, and thank you for tuning into this Monday pod of Born to Be a Star. Today is another day and another opportunity for you to recognize your star power. And Mondays are typically horrible, and I try my best to get through them in the easiest way. But I don't know, today just felt like hell in reality. And honestly, the more the day went on, it just felt like it wasn't going to end. I'm just, I'm tired. I feel like I'm going to work till I die, and this is not how anybody should feel. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like this. Sometimes I have days where I feel like I'm working and I'm doing all these things, desperately seeking some variation of success that, yes, I am connected to, but also life is more than just working, it's living. And I don't know if I'm really living. I feel like in my consciousness, I'm assuming I'm doing that. But I don't know if we're actually doing that. Just a thought, right? But today is another day and another opportunity for you to recognize your star power by reflecting on where you've been and where you're going to next. Looking in the mirror, you see your reflection, you have to learn to love it. Some days are better than others, and some moments are better than others. But learning to love your reflection is learning to love who you are and who you're becoming. Sometimes it is very difficult to learn to love yourself, especially when the world is probably telling you to hate yourself. And I think we've all had experiences that where people act like you don't exist, right? But loving your reflection, loving who you are, respecting yourself enough to understand your power, your stardom, is only the beginning. When you're looking in the mirror, you should be looking in that mirror saying to yourself at the beginning of the day, yes, I can have a great day. You should be looking in the mirror, reflecting on the day, saying, yes, I can conquer a new goal. Yes, I can start something new. Yes, I can learn something new. Yes, I can have a good day. Yes, I can be better. I can learn how to play chess. I can learn how to play the saxophone. I can learn how to organize something differently than I've done it before. I can watch something different. I can plan a travel. Honestly, there's so much that I can do, we can do. The sky is not the limit here. So we need to be telling ourselves, yes, we can, to basically anything we put our minds to, within reason, right? But that's how we should start our day. Following starting the day with the yes, you can is starting the day with never give up. Because how can you possibly give up on yourself or anyone you love without persevering through the difficulty? The difficulty is life. I'm sorry, it's not easy. It's definitely hard. It's not fun, and it's not comfortable. At the beginning of this podcast, I told you about how you can feel stuck with working and feeling like you're never going to have any time off. And that's just go, 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 go. I feel like that all the time. But I still remain positive. I still remain aware that I'm still living and I'm in control of all of this. And so are you. So just because a doctor gave you bad news, just because your mom might be sick, just because your brother is going to need leg surgery or your best friend is moving from down the street, right? Just because you didn't get the sheets you wanted for your new dorm room that you're coming up to in the fall. Just because you might have to switch your major at the school you wanted to go to. And just because something didn't work out exactly the way you wanted to doesn't mean you just give up on something. You do have to continue to persevere. And when you persevere, you'll get through the difficulty and you'll get back to the simplicity of it all. That's the point. Getting through the difficulty and getting back to the normal of it. Following the idea of never giving up is the idea of why not today, because procrastination and indecisiveness is never the answer. It's always the problem. If you're going to succeed, then you have to organize things effectively, strategize your days, plan effectively. You have to understand that if you don't fix the dishwasher in the kitchen, it's not going to fix itself. If you don't clean something up and you don't plan effectively and you don't utilize a calendar or a planner, if you don't make a doctor's appointment, if you don't follow through, if you're not responsible or reliable, or you're not somebody that can be counted on, if you're not doing these things, then you're not living. Fixing the dishwasher is just the beginning of it. Do you really want to stand there and wash all the dishes? I can't imagine that. Now, I know a lot of people do not use dishwashers, but we are not them. And it's very useful to have that as a tool just to take up less time of the day. When it comes to washing clothes in a washing machine, you want to make sure that works effectively too, so your laundry doesn't get messed up. And when it comes to your car, your vehicle that you drive to get around everywhere you go, you want to make sure that's okay too, because that's your form of transportation, and we want the form of transportation to get you to transport. That's the idea of it. So moving on from that, let's get to, you got it, the headlines. Let's get into this Monday edition of No Media Allowed, No Media Allowed, No Media Allowed, because they lie to us anyway. So Biden did that horrible debate on Thursday, and I talked about it with you during the last podcast. And it was really bad. I really didn't go into details the other day about it, but I want to today. He was not prepared. I'm not sure what they went over with him during his 10-day hiatus away from everybody. As a president, he doesn't answer questions. He doesn't talk to the media. He just lies about everything. There's some good news that I want to tell you about in a moment. But to begin with, I'm going to talk about the debate. He couldn't answer any of the questions. He got confused with his responses. He was looking deliriously into the camera, and the camera was split into two screens, and he looked incapacitated. It was embarrassing. As an American, as a hardworking American that's part of the working class in this society that gets up every day with my husband and I go to work, I was embarrassed because that's the representation we have around the world. Every person in charge of every country is probably wondering what the fuck is going on, that man is being shoved out there as some hero for America who doesn't even know what his name is or what today's date is. That is sad. It is 100% likely that if Donald Trump had remained in office for 4 years, like he should have, there would be no war with Russia and Ukraine. There would have not been anything happening with Israel and Hamas, because Hamas and Iran was scared of Donald Trump. He instilled fear into these people, and Biden took it all away. So how does that work? How do we... Honestly, how do we get this done? How do we sit here and lie? How do we pretend like what we just witnessed the other day didn't really happen? How are we pretending like he doesn't go away and, his staffers don't hide him, right? They continue to keep him away from the cameras, and they continue to keep him away from questions and interviews and just doing normal presidential things. How is that possible? I guarantee you don't have a response. That was embarrassing. Today is Monday, and something great happened today. The Supreme Court decided that whatever the Biden administration and the Department of Justice and the idiot in Florida was trying to do to Trump isn't gonna fly. And they got everything that they deserved. There was one person on the Supreme Court, of course it was the Democrat, that said she didn't understand the ruling. We're not surprised. She's a moron. Joe Biden then came out after the result came out and basically put a hit on the Supreme Court by saying that the Supreme Court has created a outcome that shouldn't have happened. You're mad because you wanted to attack Donald Trump with some ridiculous January 6th stuff that he did not incentivize. You're mad because you can't touch him because you don't actually have anything against him. You never did. You're mad because you can't actually run against Donald Trump because you're a horrible, horrible person to pick to be the president. You were bad originally, and you're even worse now. And you know who's even worse than Joe Biden? Kamala Harris. Why was she a witness on BET with Travanci or whatever her name is? I mean, this shit just continues to get more embarrassing. Anyone of a woman status, like an actual woman, not a villain Mulvaney pretender, and anyone that's of any racial color, like, I don't know, black, any minority, should be embarrassed by that clip that was at the BET Awards. Not that anybody actually watches that whack crap anyways. I've been asking for years, why are we rewarding people that aren't that talented? Question mark. But this brings me back to the beginning of the conversation when I told you that Joe Biden's not fit to run for office. Everybody saw it. The media was running with their heads chopped off all weekend long, saying that Joe Biden should get out of the race, but he can't get out of the race. There's too much money there. You had the blonde idiot on MSDNC. You had Taffer. You had all these idiots all weekend long saying how they wanted to get rid of Joe Biden, except they can't. And you know who's pushing this more than anybody? His fake doctor wife, who loves the attention, loves the limelight, is continuing to try to pretend to be Michelle Obama. These people are all the same. What is the limit here? When will you stop? At what point do you stop? Why are you continuously lying about stuff, pretending like something isn't what it actually is? Joe Biden clearly has dementia and Alzheimer's. He is not there anymore, and we all saw that on Thursday. And your unwillingness to face reality and attack Donald Trump and any conservative or any Republican or anyone that just does not agree with you is pathetic, right? You're trying to get independent, unaffiliated, and people that don't have a party to vote in your way, and you're not attracting any of those voters. So if you're not attracting any of those voters, where are they going to go? When people actually sit back and look at their lives now in comparison to 3.5 years ago when Trump was president, I think that they're thinking about pictures that they see with the gas pump being $1.59. I'm thinking that they remember what the housing market was like with the interest rate being 2.5%. I'm thinking that they remember the fact that everything was affordable, including the eggs and the milk at the grocery store and the bread, right? And the bacon, if you like bacon like I do. It could be the real bacon or the vegan bacon, whatever the bacon may be, Beyond Meats or and all of it. You're remembering a time where life was easy and livable, and now you're experiencing a time where it isn't. And you know who's to blame for that? Joe Biden. I said to you at the podcast the other day, you can't blame Trump for everything bad happening to you, because he's not in charge of the bad experience. Joe Biden and the Democratic Party is. Today is Monday, and the Supreme Court made a decision that takes away some psychotic prosecutor's power, right? That Donald Trump really went out of his way to do things illegally on January 6th. That didn't happen, though. We all know it didn't happen. They have been lying about this shit forever. Do you understand that happened in like 2020? And it is about to be 2025. Why? Why are we spending all this time pretending like that moment in time actually mattered in the United States of America, where Americans went to the Capitol, which is supposed to be their capital, and they wanted to tell those motherfuckers how they felt? They didn't agree with them. And they had the right to do that. And you know what? They opened up the doors. They opened up the gates. And Nancy Pelosi didn't listen to Donald Trump. It was all planned, and it was all strategic, and it was all to slight the view of the Trumpians. Now, they want to call us MAGA Republicans, and they can, if you are trying to insult me because the acronym MAGA is Make America Great Again, you're not insulting me. If you're trying to insult me because I want to take the side of a smart, sophisticated businessman, you're not insulting me. He has a lot of money, and he has a lot of weight in the world. And this petty bullshit that they're doing to him just doesn't matter anymore. Normal, everyday people are living in hell. And the only person that they can blame for that is the politician that represents the state they're from. I mean, Gavin Newsom, an embarrassment. AOC helped Jamal Bowman get unelected in that position. And hopefully her ugly ass is next too. And when I hear all these the young snirks and all these people run around saying how beautiful and talented she is, it shows you how desperate they are. These people are failing. It's not working. No one's listening to them. No one's clicking the clickbait, and no one cares. There's the headlines. Joe Biden is out. It doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter what he does. If he wants to pay the piper and he wants to do another debate, he's going to lose that one too. He's not cognitively there. He hasn't been. Why is it that he gets to do a nightcap and he's only awake from 10 to 4? Why is it he gets to hide away and pretend like 13 men and women didn't die in Afghanistan and 3 others didn't die in Libya? Why are we pretending like all these deaths, all this collateral damage, all the girls, all the women raped, slaughtered, murdered on the street, their lives don't matter? But you want to tell me that we're supposed to respect the government and all these affiliated industries that they represent? No, we don't want to do any of that. They all suck and we all know it. That's the gist of it. Those are the headlines. Today, Biden is losing again, and it's kind of fun to watch. Everything that they have attempted to do to Donald Trump has backfired because Trump is not doing any of this because he has to. He's doing it because he wants to. And we need a real leader, and Joe Biden isn't that. Moving on from that to illegals continue to kill Americans, and then they want to say that they're going to get ICE involved and that they're going to do something. The guy that killed the woman of 5, the mom of 5, is he really claiming like he's not guilty? The guy that raped a girl in the park in New York where Trump used to live, is he claiming he's not guilty too? I told you I got in a car accident, and I just got my car back today, where somebody hit me on the highway, a hit and run. And I still don't know what the hell is going on with this case, if I have to get a lawyer, if I have to go to physical therapy, whatever I have to do for this, right? Where does this end? That's the question. At what point do we call out illegal for what it is? Non-resident is illegal. If you're not coming across this border legally with identification like a passport or a visa, you're illegal. That's it. Us pretending that it's anything outside of that is a lie. We have to stop this insanity. We have to stop pretending like reality isn't real. We have to stop acting like there's not a puppet master here. They're killing Americans, and the Democratic Party needs to be held responsible for that. They aren't willing to admit their failure, but their failure is willing to admit them, because Joe Biden is horrible and Kamala Harris is not any better. In fact, I think people hate her more, even though Joe Biden sucks 1,000,000% horribly. And they continue to lie about it, and it's kind of comical. Did you watch that debate on Thursday? Did you see any clips from it? It was pathetic. And I sat on the couch in the living room and I watched every moment of it, mostly laughing because he was staring into space and he looked incoherent and insane. So I was basically making fun of him the entire time, like I always do, because I think he's a complete buffoon idiot. But I told you the other day my mom made a comment about Trump to my husband, Skip. And she said, I hope Biden wins because Trump is going to get us into a war. And I love my mom, but she doesn't understand politics. We're already going into World War III. The United States has told Russia that it's going to help Ukraine use NATO and a bunch of other things it shouldn't be doing. And they're going to fund weapons, and they're willingly saying that. So now, Russia is in Florida, in Cuba, with ships, and they're not scared. And I know people might want to insult Vladimir Putin and claim that he's a bad guy, but is he really a bad guy? If you really cared about your country, your land, what everything you represent stands for, wouldn't you fight too? What would be your limitation? How many more Ukrainians gotta die? They have slaughtered generations of men for nothing. It's pathetic. And let's be honest. I've been telling you this for months, if not years. Ukraine's never going to win this. It doesn't matter how many weapons or money they get. They're just not strong enough to defeat Russia. No one is. And sure, NATO could do a bunch of things. Sure, that could happen. But I'm telling you, if you're going to mess with the fire, you're going to get burned. Facts. They continue to deny reality, but they all suck, and they're all failing, and we can all see it live, and they can't hide any of it. Joe Biden can't have any type of cognitive conversation. They get the questions in advance, and we all know that he is reading off of a teleprompter because he can't speak without it. He can't just catch on to the conversation and have a normal, diverse conversation without a big machine in his face. It's insane. The gated communities aren't the communities. It's a specific part of the community that's disconnected from the community. So when I hear AOC and a bunch of these other idiots try to proclaim that they are part of the community, no, they're not. They're not actually experiencing anything from the community. They get to go into their gated area away from anything happening, and they get to disconnect themselves from that. And that doesn't mean that they're part of the community. That just means they're in a gated part of the community. And they're not dealing with the problems. They're pushing the problems away. And that's not fixing anything. Who protests? Who protects the middle? No one. So I was at the hairdresser this weekend, and my hairdresser was talking a bunch of crap about these protesters. And I said to her, who protests for the working class? And do you understand that her response to me is, why would anyone need to protest for the working class? We work so we have money. And she didn't understand what I was saying. She is like many others that don't get the picture I'm trying to paint. I get up every day and I go to work, and you are a business owner. Who's protecting you and your taxes, right? We are paying, we are incentivizing these people to think that they don't have to go to work, they don't have any responsibilities, and they get to lollygag and run around and be what? Available to be hired by Jeff Bezos whenever he needs them so they can have protesters? Well, I gotta go to work? How the fuck does that work? That's the question. No one protects the middle. No one protects the working class. No one wants to have an actual conversation about the fucking taxes. And she also made a comment about the taxes not being important. Well, do you make so much money that you're not asking that question either? I don't understand, but okay. Moving on from politics, let's get to this Monday edition of Red or blue, they're coming for you, into the matrix. Today's conversation of Into the Matrix is really depend on coworkers. I've worked in many jobs, in many different scenarios, in many situations, and I don't know how to answer that question. I'm lately forced with thinking that I should just keep my head down and be silent and pretend I don't hear or see anything, and that will, give me a better experience, right? That's what I'm feeling. But like, why do I have to exist in a working setting, feeling uncomfortable, unhinged, full of anxiety and stressed out? Because if I say something that I'm going to irritate my coworkers, I'm really at the point where I don't give a fuck about my coworkers, right? I'm totally qualified for my job, if not overqualified for it. I'm tired of people second guessing me and trying to doubt me or defeat me. And it's likely not just me feeling like this, but like, honestly, why aren't people reliable? Why are they so lazy? Why do people show up late to work? Why do people barely do their jobs? Why are people unaware of reality? Why is it that micromanagers think they're going to accomplish anything by